Wow! We have started.
Welcome.
Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome.
Molly's
Welcome.
in a groove from the song.
I know. It's hard to like start the show when you're just sitting here like
Just grooving.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
How's it going, everybody? How's everyone doing? Not good enough. Dirtram wrote hails, hails, hails. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Is that the devil? Are you the devil? Are you the devil? Tell the truth. You have to tell us if you're the devil. Maybe. Maybe not. Well.
Welly, welly, well.
No comment. You are the devil. Joy to the world. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for also dealing with our schedule change.
Yeah, thank you for following us. Sometimes a high wind comes in and you can't set sail.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes the back of your boat is gonna hit the dock, you know?
Sometimes your boat has to accommodate the needs of a guest on another podcast. And you have a scheduling conflict, and then we just do this on Wednesday because
Yeah. Facts. And
but we'll be back on Tuesdays in the future.
Yeah, next week we're back on Tuesday.
But we could renegotiate at any time. We can move around.
We really could. And you know what? That's the joy of life. Like, just there's freedom to reschedule or push a day if you need to. Because yesterday, look, guys, I'll admit it. It was me. I had a scheduling conflict, okay? I had to go record a different podcast. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And another unfortunate thing is, I got it's not unfortunate because I'm happy about it, but I got a face peel today, so I don't have any makeup on because I really couldn't risk ruining the face peel I got. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
In solidarity with Anna, I'm also not wearing makeup.
I did. Although I texted her. I told her. I said, I'm not wearing makeup today, so.
I did put on lip gloss, so.
I kind of have lip gloss, but I also used a lip scrub. A scrub to scrub all the dryness off my lips. And then I put coconut oil on my lips. So it's kind of like a gloss.
It's because this is a fresh start. We are, I don't know if we're halfway through the season, but that promo made it seem like there's a lot of exciting action to come.
I know. It looks like there's a lot to come. I couldn't figure out if that was just like the next episode, but it said like this season.
It was later this season. Usually they do that when they're about to take a week off for a holiday. But
right.
Sometimes they just go right into it.
I don't know if they're going to do it. It wasn't clear if they were off next week. They didn't say anything. They didn't say in 2 weeks or whatever, usually when they...
True.
I think it's just the midway point. I think, yeah, more recent Below Deck seasons have been about 17 to 20 to 22 episodes. So I do think we are about halfway through. Now, in the original Deckheads incarnation with a podcast, former co-host Nick Turner, his favorite episodes were 7, 8, 9, because that's when things really start popping off. But in the longer seasons, you find yourself kind of more in like a 9, 10, 11. That's when it really starts to pop off. So I'm hoping these next few episodes are going to heat up.
I mean, that trailer for the rest of the season looked crazy, and there's some crazy gossip about pregnancies.
There's so much to discuss.
That we'll discuss. But first, I want to say, Steven Soderbergh, please come on Chief Stews, the Below Deck Twitch show. Steven Soderbergh produced the Oscars this year. I know
yes,
they
he
were
did.
controversial, but I thought under the circumstances, he did an interesting, admirable job. But also, somebody on Twitter was like, producing the Oscars probably a lot like running a charter,
Interesting. It is.
right?
He was excited to what like film a work and I mean I guess it wasn't really no one was
Yes.
working, were
Well,
they? Would you say the
people are.
Oscars is work?
I would say the Oscars is work because it's actually really boring to be there. I've been told. Like most
Mm,
award shows are very boring to be there, except for the Adult Video News Awards, which are delightful. Um, he produced the one that was like at Union Station.
yes.
Um, but I do think there's something about the Oscars that the liveness of it
Mm-hmm.
is very like Below Deck, very like a charter in that you have to respond to things like as they happen in real time.
Yes, I agree with that. Um, I did think it was interesting that they did not let what's his name, Anthony Hopkins, zoom in to accept his award. Soderbergh said no zooms whatsoever, and so Anthony Hopkins was snubbed, even though he technically won an
Well,
award.
he won, but also a lot of people thought that they were setting up the show to climax with Chadwick Boseman winning because they had like invited his widow and she sat there through the whole Oscar ceremony,
Oh,
presumably for like this big emotional climax where like this incredibly talented, no longer with us actor wins this award and everybody like cries. And then instead, Anthony Hopkins won. And
right.
everybody was like, what do we do now?
I
Like,
know.
we don't do Zooms. I guess we just like end the show and just like cut it off. But that's
Well,
very experimental, which is very Steven Soderbergh.
it was more like uh, uh cut cut to shit Questlove. And then he was
That's
like, "Hey guys, thanks for watching."
See, that's like on a charter when it's like you don't have the waters, for example, for the guests at the castle in Croatia. So you're like,
Yeah,
what can we do to like distract them while we go do the thing that they actually need? Um,
nothing.
yeah,
Cut
nothing.
to cool DJ.
Yeah.
Or, in another case it would have been a deckhand's abs if it existed. If there was a hot enough deckhand like an Ashton or a Kelly, remember Kelly early on, Kelly,
Oh yeah.
or a Brian, Brian of Brian and Courtney. If that had been the case, we would
Well, I also feel
yeah,
like
you throw to
sometimes
abs. Hot abs always wins.
yeah, they throw the hotties at them, but sometimes they also throw like just the chief stew to come out and like tell them a story,
Oh yeah,
just
just
to
to
over
like kill
distract
time.
them. Yeah, just to kill time while like the food comes out. I'm gonna put a breathe right strip on because that's how casual we're being this week. Anything can happen.
Are you not able to breathe right now?
Have you ever used a breathe right strip?
No, I haven't.
Do you have any issues with breathing or snoring?
Do I snore? Do I snore?
Only when you fart.
Only when I fart, I snore. Apparently, no, not really. Not out of my
Um,
nose.
yeah, I just like I have never been able to breathe that well. I think I just discovered breathe right strips and I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. I also heard you can just put a piece of tape over your nose and it'll help.
I believe that.
I think my
Um,
7th grade science teacher told me that.
I mean, I don't know if that's good for you. Probably this isn't good for you either, but it's incredible. It's like I just walk around like,
Wow, this is
um,
the most casual deckheads
yeah.
that could ever exist.
Uh, NYC Jessa said, I called the mid-season holy shit trailer.
Yeah, look, as soon as someone's like, I have chlamydia again, you're like, what? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, was the implication, well, we'll get into it, but the implication was that Jean-Luc may have given
Danny
Danny
chlamydia.
chlamydia, but also maybe impregnated her.
Yeah. So, should we get into the rumors first, and then we'll get into the episode?
Yeah, let's lead with the
So,
chisme.
let me pull up our Instagram because I'm going to show you guys some pics. I don't know how to do the pics on here just yet, but we okay. So Danny officially this week. Last week we were talking about rumors that Danny was pregnant because someone saw her and thought, and took a photo of her and submitted it to Bravo Cocktails. Sorry, it's like the Bravo Dumas.
I call it like Cocktails and Dreams, which is the name of the bar
Cocktails
in the
and
movie
Dreams.
Cocktail.
Yes. So, um, she posted on her Instagram basically full pregnant with the caption, "It's me and you," or something like that. It's just me and you,
It's
baby.
just me and you, little baby.
And a few days later, or like a day or so later, Jean-Luc posted this Instagram. What is wrong with me? This Instagram. Okay, this one. Sorry, this is terrible. Go look at our Instagram story. It's just not, that is not working. But he posted a Instagram that basically it was like a sky, and it said the calm before the storm. You can't see it. This is just terrible. So anyway, I was like, now, is this a hint that he is going to get a bunch of shit when it comes out that that's his baby? That was my theory. Obviously, I don't know anything.
I couldn't tell if it was that or if it was he was talking about a literal storm that was going to make it difficult for them to sail.
I mean, I think it could have been both. Like, it was like, what a perfect metaphor for the situation of my life. Because the second it's revealed it's his. Now, I did do some math. It would make sense that it's his baby. Timing wise. Unless she very quickly hooked up with someone after she left.
They did also lay the seed of like, I also have this ex-boyfriend I thought I was going to be with forever and it didn't work out.
Right. But that doesn't make sense because he had died 4 months previous to her leaving or joining this charter. So
right, he died. That is
yes, he died. He was a cop and he was, I believe, shot like while on duty.
Oh, never mind. It's not sad.
Well, whatever. So so it doesn't make sense because then they would have had to have sex 4 months. So she would have been 4 months pregnant at that point. So she would have already had that baby, I believe.
Okay.
I did research. So they filmed July, August, September about. So if we're halfway through the charter season, so what, August we're assuming they may have hooked up. So then
NYC Jessa said, I figured she's about 6 or 7 months pregnant, so she would have gotten pregnant in October, November.
does that make sense? October, November. Wait, okay. I'm about to like count. November, December, January, April. Wait, no, because that's 4 months.
Off Moon 24
5,
says
6.
she had an exclusive
Right.
interview with the Daily Mail where she said she was very far along. Could she be like 9 months pregnant? And if so,
I think she's like 8 months.
The ex-boyfriends?
I think she's 8 months and it's JL's because it just makes sense. So if they were filming July, August, September, and I believe they hooked up in August based on my understanding of what's going on with this season, how far we are in. So August, September, October, November, December. So that would mean that she's 9 months pregnant. Or 8 months pregnant? 4 plus 5. No, that's 9. Okay, all right. Let's go to the thread because now I'm really just all over the place with my counting.
Off Moon 24 says, however, the reality star played coy when asked exactly how far along she was and if her co-star Jean-Luc Serza-Lano, his full name, is the father of her unborn child. I'm very far, she said cryptically before breaking into laughter.
it doesn't make sense that it's her best friends. It just doesn't make sense. Because she would have definitely had that baby by now.
Well, I think the pandemic also changes the nature of time itself, you know?
Right.
So I found out coyotes are only pregnant for 2 months and then they just give birth. Maybe she had like a coyote pregnancy because Jean Luc obviously has like superhuman giant man sperm.
Look, my final theory is that it's John Wilkes.
You think I'm gonna just to play the devil's advocate, I'm gonna
Please.
say I think it's not Jean Luc's. I think it's somebody else, a third party. TBD.
I think
Let's
she's 8 months pregnant with Jean Luc's baby, and she got pregnant with it in August of last year when they were filming Below Deck, and that is my final theory.
you think she went from like I don't know if I can hook up with a 24-year-old to like I'm gonna carry his child to term?
I think first of all, she's so emotional because she's what, 34, which I'm like, you're still young. And or was she 32? Sorry, I can't remember. But
She's 32, but she's acting like she's like so old and
okay,
washed up, and like she'll never find a man to love her because she's a yachty,
right.
and her lifestyle is too.
So everything
All over the
implies that
place.
if she were to have a baby, she'd keep it. If she found out she was pregnant, she would keep it.
I mean, the editing really is leading that
Yeah.
way, but then she really does be pregnant. So, does anybody watch Real Housewives of Dallas? Do you watch Real Housewives of Dallas by any
I
chance?
do not. I watched the first episode and then I didn't keep up because I got distracted by something else.
It's whatever. There was a finale last night.
Yeah.
And Brandy, who's a real dum dum, who was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, married her eighth grade boyfriend.
Okay.
They're both redheads, and they have like three redheaded children. It's very children of the corn. She was a big asshole all season. She was the racist who they then brought in
Yeah.
an Asian American cast member to like
Yeah.
make her deal with it, and she didn't deal with it well at all. Then at the end of the season, it's like immediately on the after show, we find out that right after filming ended, she found out she was 9 months pregnant with a full baby because she hadn't gone to the doctor the whole pandemic.
That's wild.
And then she went to the doctor and they were like, she for something else for like a routine whatever, and they were like you're pregnant, and then they got the ultrasound done and it was like you're 9 months pregnant, there's a full baby in there is what Stephanie, housewife Stephanie, kept saying. She kept saying she was pregnant with a full baby. So then she like had a panic attack. She was like, what? Like she couldn't comprehend it. But also I was like, I guess like that's kind of the perfect storm for someone now to have like a Peggy Olson on Mad Men type like surprise to you pregnancy, you
But
know?
how do
Where
you like
like
go 9 months not realizing there's a baby growing in you? That's
she's
surreal.
really, really dumb.
Actually, that's not true. There is a show. Oh, no, I don't know if she's dumb or not. I'm not saying that about that. I was mostly responding to myself. There was a show I didn't know I was pregnant back in the day. I used to watch in college, and it was all about people like going to the hospital with like stomach pains and finding out they
Oh
were like
yeah.
in birth or having
Oh
birth,
yeah.
or having
It
birth,
does
having a baby.
happen. I imagine it happens less than it used to, but
Yeah.
it was also crazy because Brandy was just like pounding alcohol the whole season, you
Oh
know?
no.
Like the whole season is just like them drinking and being like, it's quarantine, we're drinking so
Oh
much.
no.
But I was also like, I can see how somebody would be like, oh, I gained, 20 pounds or whatever, like during COVID.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, that's 20 pounds is like a person inside of you. And also, then it came out right after that her husband was cheating on her.
Oh my god. Okay, well that is actually a quite a story arc for a housewife.
It's a great story arc, and I think she's not coming to their reunion because of it. I
'Cause
think
she's
she's like
about to have
coming
a
via
baby.
Zoom, unlike the Oscars. She's allowed to come via Zoom so that she doesn't have to be put on the spot so much about it.
Uh, Okay. Wow. Well, that is a turn.
They just like showed a picture of the baby at the very end of the finale. They were like, then she found out she was pregnant, and here's the baby. The end of the season.
Oh my god. I
It
would
was
potentially die if I
crazy.
found out I was pregnant, but like 9
Oh my
months along, like
god, I
about
would
to have a
die.
baby.
That's what I said too. Is I would die if you found out. It's like an anxiety dream. It's like you just are going in for something else, and then and just the way that Stephanie kept saying with a full baby, like
Yeah.
I guess to imply that it could not be like aborted. Um, even though I don't know
Yeah.
if she would have anyway, because they're all very Christian on that show.
Oh well,
But
Texas.
crazy.
Oh, Molly, let's that's I can't. That let's go to the chat.
Oh, the chat knows why she won't be at the reunion, and it's because her okay. She was told she would Brandy was told she was menopausal. Her
Okay.
doctors told her she couldn't get pregnant. That's why they adopted Bruin,
Okay.
which is the baby they adopted last year. She wasn't able to be on because Carrie who's one of the other housewives, had COVID and was on the plane with her, so they both had to quarantine. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
My read was wrong, but
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, I guess if the doctor tells you you're menopausal, that's like you're like free and clear to like, just raw it forever.
that's so true. He's like, "Yeah, you're on menopause. You can't get pregnant." She's like, "Woo!" He's like, "You are having a
Woo!
baby right now." You're like,
Right? Like that's crazy.
"Oh."
That's the thing. It's like, ugh. Because
All
that's
right.
like that's on the doctor. That's not even on Brandy, even though
Yeah.
she is like a dum dum. Like if the doctor told her like, shit, it's shut down, the factory's closed, you're good to go, and then it was like the factory is open.
Yeah.
And it,
So the chat is also saying that okay, so Jay Kutka says they could have JL and Danny could have gotten pregnant during the reshoots for the confessionals. And then yeah, Zoe McPhee, she was like, Let's make a baby." Right? It's Allie's baby. Yeah, I guess she did hook up. That was confusing cuz it sounded like she was drunk and wanting to hook up with JL, and maybe he got drunk cuz we saw on the show that he gets a little faded and can't really do much. He like becomes like kind of like that drunk person who's just there but like can't say or do anything.
which is funny because he's so big. I would assume it would take more to get him drunk, but it must
I
just
think he
like,
drinks a lot though.
and I think he's just like a human straw. It just goes
Yeah.
like zoop.
Kun on the Cob says she said if she gets pregnant, that's God's will, and then Jail had unprotected sex with her and doesn't want anything to do with the baby, allegedly. Yeah. Oh, Zoe McPhee also
Wow.
says there was a poly situation after she and Gary hooked up, and it's Gary's. Yeah, right. Danny hates Gary. If it was Gary's baby, I think we would all die.
Zoe McPhee says a little baby Lord Farquaad. Let's take a moment for the best part of the show this week, which was when JL referred
Yes.
to Gary as Lord Farquaad.
Which is the most on point part. Like I was like, "Oh my god, you nailed it. He
He nailed
is
it.
Farquaad."
It made me laugh so hard because I was like, right, he thinks he's in a Clockwork Orange, but really he's got a Prince Valiant haircut and
Yeah.
he's a little Lord Farquaad.
He's a little Lord Farquaad. And if you guys don't know who that is, Google image him. He's from Shrek.
The movie Shrek.
The cinematic masterpiece Shrek. So
I didn't
go
think
look
I
up.
knew that reference until he said it, and then I was like, yes. Well, that is supposed to be, that's a caricature of like Jeffrey Katzenberg or somebody, I think.
Is it
Lord
really?
Farquaad, yeah. Or no, it's DreamWorks, so it's going to be Eisner or somebody.
I was gonna say Quibi's Jeffrey Katzenberg.
It's not Jeffrey Katzenberg because DreamWorks is his company, but that whole thing is like fuck the Disney company.
I
The way they all
see.
just got done working, so it's like Michael Eisner or somebody. If anybody knows who Lord Farquaad is meant to be, let us know.
An old Disney exec is what Jay Kutka says. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we accept. We accept that.
We accept. We'll take it.
That's funny. I didn't realize they were so like petty. They're like, and this little short weirdo is you, Disney executive, and they're like,
That was the whole
okay,
thing at the time. They were like, we're edgy. We're not like
yeah.
Disney. We make movies for children that have adult pop cultural references in them that will age badly.
I will say, Puss in Boots is something else.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you would actually really enjoy Puss in Boots because it's funny, it's cute, it's a wild cinematic adventure.
I mean, I like Antonio Banderas.
You would love it.
I like a Puss in Boots.
You would, Molly, you would love it.
Love it.
What are you drinking this week? Based
Oh.
on a certain tweet, someone's
Great
going to take a shot of
question.
sea buckthorn. Thorn? A
It's
sea
sea
buck-
buckthorn.
sea
Found out
buckthorn.
it is not underwater. Does
Okay.
not underwater whatsoever. But I imagine grows by the sea. So
You have a tiny
Um,
shot of it?
I have a tiny shot of it. I
Oh,
bought at the
interesting.
grocery store. Just because I was like, ooh, sea buckthorn, I can make good on my promise to.
Interesting. Now, what is it supposed to do?
From what I read, it's like Russian and Ukrainian folk medicine uses it a lot, and they claim it's like good for heart health.
Okay, so you're going to have a strong heart after this.
I have a strong heart. It says shake, shoot, feel. You
Oh,
know
God.
what? I'm not gonna shoot it. I'm gonna sip it out of a
You don't
martini
need
glass.
to. You
Like
as they intended.
as they intended. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a raspberry martini. Uh, it's fancy. We're trying to hit all the fruit martinis. Pear,
Real?
raspberry, a classic, the fruit sea buckthorn. So that's where I'm at. Hey, sorry, I couldn't do an espresso martini tonight. I couldn't get the jitters, okay?
We did see an ad for another canned espresso martini though. That is probably cheaper than Loverboy.
Yeah, you know, I gotta
Real.
say, Loverboy is so aggressively expensive. What
Yes.
the hell are they thinking? Even their like normal, I don't know, seltzers are so expensive.
It's crazy. It's like, oh, it's bespoke. It's like, no.
Hey, look, I watched the show. I know you have a distribution problem, okay? Like you're not hiding it. Oh, here we go. That's not enough. That's enough for you to shoot.
It's for me to shoot. Nikki Beck says sea buckthorn was all the rage in 2010-ish.
Oh.
It's not just sea buckthorn, it's mixed with orange and pineapple and lemon juice and baobab powder.
Okay. Let us know how it
Uh,
is.
Cheers.
Here, hold on. Cheers.
Well, we're getting roasted by Zach.
Are they still called martinis when there's absolutely no alcohol in them? Yes, this is Deckheads, you dummy. Ugh!
Cheers.
Cheers. I believe if it's in a martini glass, it's automatically a martini. Okay. How is it?
It's good. I mean, I can't taste the sea buckthorn specifically.
Do you know what it tastes like?
No, but now that I looked at the other ingredients, it definitely tastes more like an orange pineapple juice than
Okay.
anything else.
Okay.
I like how they got me to buy something that's just orange juice in a tiny container, in a little poppers container.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's good for you.
Now, you originally found like a larger bottle of sea buckthorn. I think you have to go back and try that.
Yeah, that was a soda at the Armenian grocery store, and
Yeah.
I definitely will return for the real juice.
Yeah. You can't get the sea buckthorn watered down with its pineapple and orange. You need
It's
the
true.
real thing here. Wow, okay, that was a great tasting.
Yeah.
And yeah, guys, we said pretty early on we're not drinking alcohol. We're just making dumb fake martinis because that's what we do.
I'm not
Oh.
opposed to doing it someday. I'll do it for the finale. That's my promise. Is I'll have a drink for the finale. I will find a canned espresso martini and drink it.
Yeah, if I could get a real espresso martini that I didn't have to make myself, I would drink it. But I'm not making any. I'm not. You know me. You guys know me, right? Okay, let's.
Zach says weak. Maybe that's Zach is like pleading to make us drinks.
Zach is literally laying on the couch or on the bed on his stomach with his legs up on his phone like he's texting his crush right now. Okay, so don't take him too seriously because he's a little cutie pie on the bed right now. Okay, he's like dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. And there's a 7-second delay, so then he'll hear this. You little. Oh, he put his legs down. Okay. He's living his best life. Guys. Sorry. Let's talk a little about Below Deck. What's going on in this episode? So, yeah, Danny and JL fuck in a guest cabin, and Danny said his dick fit. Confirmation.
Just because he's like 10 feet tall doesn't mean his dick is also 10 feet tall.
Yeah, but it could be 10 feet wide.
It could
Circumference?
be, but it's not like proportional.
That's true. Do you think it's
necessarily.
just as like thin and long?
It might be. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't
We'll have to
know.
wait for Danny to tell us.
JL, release the nudes. No, I'm just joking. Please do not. I'm sorry.
That's what the storm was when he said calm before the storm. The storm is his nudes. He's gonna
Yeah. Well,
release
so
to us.
Danny basically starts panicking, being like, I'm 32. I don't want to, like, why am I doing another season as a stew on a boat? I don't have a traditional job. I just want to get married and have babies. And that's when we learn her best friend, who she met at 18, was a cop. He got shot 6 times and died 4 months ago from when they were filming. And she thought she was going to marry him, but now he's gone.
She just sounded like she was having just a little episode.
Well,
You
yeah, she was
know?
like, why am I hooking up with a 24-year-old?
Like that'll do it to you, I guess. If what you want is like marriage and kids, hooking up with a 24-year-old could be self-alienating.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, also, like, and at the same time, you're, like, getting flack for, like, distracting him from his work. And you're like, dude, I'm doing my job. I don't know. I feel like she's not having a good time. But that's, like,
Yeah.
JL, like, he's, I guess, not completing his duties at night. And Gary's like, he's not motivated. He's distracted. And that's when JL's
Unlike
like,
Gary.
yeah, Gary's like, I don't know. Well, that's when JL comes out and is like, that's bullshit. I'm a hard worker. You're an asshole. And then he calls Gary short little Frodo and Lord Farquaad. Those were his 2 insults, which I was like,
Frodo is also good. Zoe McPhee says Danny had the Hannah I go away from him moment.
Sandy, when I fall in love, I go away from him. Ugh.
I think also there's a thing with Kate Chastain as well as Hannah. I don't know if Danny suffers from this also, but it seems like a lot of the hot stews get into stewing because they're like, I'm gonna meet a rich guy.
Yeah.
Doing this. I'm gonna like meet a guy who's chartering a yacht and he's gonna fall in love with me, and that's how I'm gonna like get really rich. And
Yeah.
then they realize like pretty quickly that it's like, oh, actually you're like working a service job, so you're like not a person really to
Yeah.
the charter guests, and if they do want to fuck you, it's like just while they're on the boat because you're like part of the free stuff on the boat to them.
Right. That's a good point.
You know,
You
'Cause
become
it's
like a part of
Hannah-
the experience versus like a real entity in their lives. God, that's a
Yeah.
bummer.
I mean, yeah, you can't overestimate how much less personhood you have to like a rich person when you're like serving them.
God, that's sad. I remember, yeah, isn't that what Kate Chastain said very early on, that she got into yachting to meet like a hot rich guy?
Yeah, and I think Hannah said that too, basically, that they just were like, well, I'm like super hot and motivated. And then they ended up being amazing at their job, you know?
Yeah.
But they got into it for the glamour and they got into it to have a non traditional career and not have to go to an office. And then, but they want to like leave it. They both like got into it being like, and then I'll get out after a few years when I've met like a handsome rich man who will like move me to Capri. And then it's like
Yeah.
10 years later and they're still doing it and they're like, what is my life?
Yeah. So actually, this reminds me. Well, one, remember when Hannah hooked up with the uh what are they called? The guest, and
Yeah.
then it was like they were texting, and then it was on the uh the iPad, and then Bugsy did that whole thing with like distributing the information to like Bobby, and then that other guy, I think his name
And
was
that was that
Max.
thing too, where I feel like Sandy used that against her later to be like, I could have kicked you off for other things.
Yeah.
Like you've
So
broken the rules before and I've let it slide, but this is like strike three or whatever.
yeah, so like Hannah, I mean, it felt like I don't think anything ever went with her and that guy, but like that was a potential opportunity for her.
Well, I think she went for it, but I think that's what you learn is like they
Yeah.
probably hooked up a few times, but it doesn't leave the boat. Like none of these relationships ever leave the boat
But even
because
if you're like technically now like a reality TV star,
yeah, just like whatever happens on the boat stays on the boat is what I think. There's something about the like pressure cooker of being on the boat with people that makes them so horny. It just seems like summer camp romances. It's like it can't transfer to the real world for whatever reason because it's like a fantasy.
God, you're right. Oh, that's such a bummer.
Yeah. I mean,
I will say, oh, this is what I was going to say before. So I was listening to Hannah Berner of Summer House's podcast with Kate Chastain specifically. I wanted to listen to that episode. And everyone, apparently, when Kate heard about this reality show, because she loved Bravo, so she's like, I'm going to try and get on. Everyone was like, you'll never be able to do yachting again if you do this reality show. And Kate was like, okay, then I should do it because I want to get out of yachting.
right? Like, oh, I can make money for doing my job and like
Yeah.
I'll probably make better money and also
Like become like a character on TV.
right, because it's like now she can just do conferences for the rest of her life, probably, right?
Or
Like,
she like has fucking she's got Bravo to back her up for the rest of her life because she did become such like a legendary character on that show.
well, she made the franchise, which is also why they can't, erase her from history, even if she's not on the show anymore. Because I do think that the show was like looking for what it was for the first few seasons, and it was like I don't know. It was more like, everybody's hot and they're all on this boat and there's interpersonal conflict. But then, like, Kate made it about the chief stew as, like, the main character
Yeah.
and made us find out there's this type of person that becomes a chief stew that's, like, a really complicated, tough broad.
Right.
And we just see them time and time again on Below Deck, where it's like but I also understand being like, I want a non-traditional job, and then like a long time later being like, oh God, like, do I want a non-traditional job? Oh well, I can't like get into it now.
I know, but like that's the
Says
problem is like
says a podcaster.
in order to like
Is
I don't know.
yachting podcasting?
Yeah, kind of. Um in order to like
You're dependent
grow
on tips.
in that industry, you would have to like become a captain. And that's like if that's just not your thing and you don't want to go through the process of being a captain, then you just kind of have to like move on once you hit like chief stew.
Right, which I think is also like an issue in a lot of things. It's like not everybody has to want to be like hustle culture.
Yeah.
You see who's going to succeed because they're the people that are like, I will run over anyone to become captain.
Malia.
People, yeah, Malia,
Malia.
Eddie, they all become like suck ups to the current captain.
JWoww.
Yeah, like they're and it's also like that's what makes it a good workplace show is because you are like, oh, I hate this person, and then they succeed because they're like a weasel. you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like you're, as the viewer, you're on Hannah's side, but you understand why people like Malia get ahead in the world because they will sell out anybody.
I will say one person's not a weasel, and that's Colin. God, we love Colin.
Oh my god, I
Colin had
love
a tough
Colin.
episode, man. I felt bad for him. Well, one, he calls his girlfriend and they speak some Spanish, and I was like, wow, love language. I love that. And then he's like, finds out that his poor dog has to be put down, and it's so sad. And apparently, he found this dog 2 years ago. They found him in a cave. He was a puppy. So the dog was young. So the dog's like 2 or 3 years old, probably like two, a little over two. And Colin rescued him. And this dog's been sailing around the world with him, but he was like having seizures. So they have to like put him down. And he basically, the saddest story ever, like the dog is like, I guess, dying on this surgical table from an infection, and then his girlfriend puts on a video of him like playing the guitar, and that allows the dog to pass on after he hears Colin's
Oh,
voice because he was waiting for, I mean, like, what the fuck? I was like, that's so sad. And I will
it
tell
was
you
so
guys,
sad.
we put our cat down this past weekend, and I was like, this is hitting too close to home.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you, Colin.
We love you, Colin.
Colin's the
Love to
best.
the animals. I also think there's something about like that, just watching Colin cry his brains out about his dog,
I know.
and then it made me cry.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, it's like you have to put all your grief into like weird outlets like that. Like, oh, I'm sad because a person I don't know's dog died on reality television. But he does
Also,
seem like a lovely, lovely chap.
I did see he got another puppy, so
I think it's also the same thing as what Danny's talking about, which is like the feeling that your life is passing you by while you're at sea. You know, that like things are going on at home and you're not there for them because you've
oh,
chosen to be in fantasy land,
yeah.
and that he would like rather be on land. I just think for all these people, it's like their fantasy was to go to sea, and then when they are at sea, they're like, oh, I fucking wish I was on land for this.
Yeah, you can't easily go back for like a death.
Right, you can't like live your life at sea unless you're like David Geffen and you live on a super yacht or whatever,
Ugh,
you
the
know.
dream.
And even then it's like you're running from something. Like sea, living it at sea in this context, in the luxury context, even if you're a worker on the boat, it is like, but maybe that's any job. It's like if you're working a lot, you like will miss things in your personal life that you wish you didn't have to miss, you
I
know?
know.
Especially if you're like an ambitious career minded person,
I'm
then
pretty
like
sure Brooke at one point missed her sister's wedding.
they have
Like,
fucked up things happen all the
that's
time. And then it's
wild.
like, I think it is just like extra surreal because they're on a boat, but maybe that's something that like everybody can relate to this year because it was like so many people couldn't see their families. So it's like we were all on
We were all
deck,
on
you
boat. We were
know?
all in a quarantine on a boat. My dog just
Hi.
sneezed.
Your
Uh
dog is so cute.
he sneezed very loudly. We're streaming, Ace. Thanks. No, I was gonna say, so
Ace wants to be in the
I was
show.
just like coughing up something. Are you sneezing or coughing? What is
See,
he doing? He's about to cough up on my duvet.
see,
Brand
this
new
is
duvet. Goodbye.
this is
Um,
riveting Twitch right here. You won't get this other places, you know? Zoe McPhee says, is there a below deck death curse, or is it a coincidence that loved ones die legit every season? It was the grandparents and now the pup has been taken. I think it's not a coincidence. I think it's just like if there's enough people in a cast, someone's gonna have a personal tragedy at home over the course of a lot of, I mean, maybe they're cursed. What do you think?
yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of like one of those things where because like every season they bring in a new group of people. Like you just have like it's not like one person, like every member of their family died while they were
No,
like
it's not like there is a Bravo reality show marriage curse, I genuinely believe.
yeah.
That if you go on a Real Housewives, your marriage is over.
Yeah.
You've chosen to be a Real Housewife. And that also seems directly related to being on the show. It's like the relationships can't handle the change in status for the women usually because a lot of them are married to real traditional ass rich guys.
Well, also probably just like it's so much exposure of like how things go down, and then your wife is just like screaming at people on TV, and
Right, and like that's the plot line too.
yeah,
And it's often like if it turns out you, the husband, are shady, then like you will be exposed on television, even if you think you're too smart for it, that you can like outmaneuver Bravo, you cannot.
oh, do you think you can outmaneuver Bravo?
But I do think it's like a devil's bargain that some of the Real Housewives do not regret making. Like I think Ramona Singer
Oh yeah,
would rather be famous than still be married to Mario. And I think
for
that if
sure.
she weren't famous, she would still be married to Mario and he would just be cheating on her, like, and they'd still be married.
Oh, good point.
You know?
Yeah,
That's what I think. I mean, when you saw it with Denise Richards, especially, that was like brutal because she didn't want that part of her life to be on screen. And they were like, too bad you're on the show now, bitch.
yeah,
You make one movie with a threesome in your career, one legendary movie,
yeah,
Wild Things, and people are gonna bring it up to you for the rest of your life.
yeah.
And
And
think
then that affair
think
thing
you're.
really was a fucking season ender. It
I
sucked.
mean, Beverly Hills always gets on one topic and just like gnaws it to
Beats it
death.
to
You
death.
know.
Yeah, it's bad.
That
Well,
one was at least interesting because it was at least like some of it's believable. But I had a big theory that I figured out halfway through, which is I was like, oh, the reason that Denise Richards was like very open on her first season and then clammed up is because she was going to court with Charlie Sheen, her
oh
ex
really?
husband, about custody shit. So
Oh
she was like,
damn.
I can't be out here looking like a bad mom or like even any kind of like unconventional mom who like
Right.
is in an open marriage and like hooks up with chicks, you know? Like even though that might be who she is, she was just like, I gotta be like, Betty Crocker for this trial with Charlie Sheen,
But that
which makes
sucks
perfect
because
sense.
it's like it's Charlie Sheen. Like how much better than Charlie Sheen do you need to look?
But it's also like I don't know, he's got so much money, so I feel like his lawyers
Yeah.
could make it. She was just freaked out, I think, about the whole prospect. I think she just realized, I think she didn't know what she was getting into, actually. I think she
Right.
thought she could control the edit, which also a lot of housewives are like, I'll be able to come across as like the sane, good one. And it's like, you don't get to choose necessarily. Um,
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen, major player in my Heidi Fleiss podcast.
Oh,
Coming out
I believe
later
that.
this year.
Okay, if there's one person you were to be like connected, there you go.
Charlie Sheen.
One thing. Okay, so whatever. Deckheads, below deck. So Natasha and Daisy, they're
They've got sexual attention. I don't know if they know it.
There's one thing I want to ask you about. Did you see the Natasha made those cream cheese and crostini popsicles, and then she put them in like rice to like hold them up? For
I
the
didn't really notice that.
Okay, well, they were not cute. For like
No.
I will say, well, we'll get to the guests, but the guests were like the woman in the primary couple is like could be a food critic because I'm like such a foodie. And then she like put out like I'm sure it tasted good, but the presentation was absurd to me. It just was not cute.
No, I agree. It was not cute.
It was also like on those like red and white like straws that look like they're from a carnival.
Yes, but then it was funny because then the guests were like, "We love it."
Yeah, I'm sure it
Actually.
tasted good, but like that, and then it was just like in brown rice. Like it was so weird. I was like, that doesn't look good.
I do feel like sometimes when the guests say like, "Oh, I'm a food critic. I have a food critic's palate" or whatever, it's like they doth protest too much a little bit,
Oh yeah.
and that's what this guest seemed like. She was just like, "Oh, look, we spent so much money on this food. It's so good."
Right. Well, Natasha was like,
Oh, and the steak looked good. Sorry if I'm quiet. I'll get closer
"Oh, you gotta bring your mic close."
to the mic.
Sorry. Molly likes to talk like this.
I like to talk quiet. Hi, it's me,
Uh,
Captain Glenn.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, but Glenn was like, "I'm really impressed by Natasha. She's really stepping it up this charter." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I think she makes good food. Like, she just like butts heads with Daisy a lot." And it's like he just saw her like using a makeup brush to design the plate. Like she's like, da, 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 da. And he's like, "Wow." Which,
I mean, I think her tricks dazzle some people and disappoint others. I think some people are like, "Wow, she's an artiste."
wow. Little Glenn's like, "Wow, that was
Wow.
cool." I will say, I sent you this earlier. Did you guys see the photo Glenn posted on his Instagram?
Oh my god, so
He's
funny.
like in his like, now this his look is like classic like young Eurotrash. Like the vibe is please go look at his Instagram. It's big sailboats.
He's wearing a polo shirt that says Dubai on it. Is it like a sailing team shirt, maybe?
He just like, I mean, I wish I could show you guys, but it never just it doesn't ever appear good enough on the camera. I wish I could like bring it up, but go look at his at big sailboats on Instagram. Yeah, he's just like wearing a Dubai like polo, has like the giant polo. Holy shit. Can you He has the giant polo. Okay, this is so annoying. Zach. This is killing me.
I think Zach is the devilish one.
God, that like scared me. He always like doesn't tell me and then it scares me. Okay? But anyway, Glenn, he's got his young Eurotrash look going on, and it was really funny to me because I'm like, he looks good. He looks like a young hottie. And I'm like, who is Glenn? Who is this young sailing man?
He Snowy McPhee says, doesn't he have a framed selfie of his girlfriend above his bed?
Does he?
Yeah. She was
It's pretty
tight.
cool.
He might. He really might. I honestly couldn't. I feel like he does. But didn't he also say like, there's also a photo of him wearing like clearly like a woman's pair of like glasses. I don't know. Go look at his Instagram. It's really funny. He seems like a real fun, nice guy. But yeah, he's like such an interesting character to me.
He contains multitudes.
He has a photo with Sydney, and the caption
Oh my god, Sydney.
is "What a coinky dink. You'll never guess who I bumped into while driving in the mountains above Palma this weekend. Sydney always puts a smile on my face." Yeah, what a coinky dink. What a coinky dink. He's so funny.
Coincidence.
He's just like a little Keebler elf who's like, "Guys, what a quinky dink. I was in my cookie making factory in the tree. And then I ran into Sydney." And you're like, "Aw, you're the best."
Aw, what a cutie.
Speaking of Sydney, she didn't really have a plot line this week, but she did have a really great line where she's like, "I just want to have fun and dance, and I'm always the first person on the dance floor with a gin and tonic, and if you don't want to have as much fun as me, then you suck."
I just love to have fun. I
was like, you need therapy.
People's lives.
Yeah.
And go some.
She
Afternoon
off-
24
go
says
ahead.
Sydney posted the same photo but in a slideshow behind a pic of just her.
I mean, Sydney, dude.
Correct. She's a great soap villain.
She's also a great like normal villain. She's just a villain. She's so strange. All right, let's Allie and Gary were happening a little this episode.
More like,
But Allie is so like hot and cold because at first she's like, nothing's happening between us, but then she's like, I am definitely growing an attachment to him though.
again, this is the sea madness because think about how how JL was like, "Oh, I'd do anything for Danny. Oh, I'm in love with Danny. I'm calling my mom about her." And then clearly is going to pull the fuck back when she gets pregnant.
Clearly, he's gonna get chlamydia.
Clearly. Clearly chlamydia. That's what
Mm.
we're drinking tonight.
Ew. You're drinking chlamydia, not me.
Ew. That's just you.
You're the chlamydia drinker. Oh, gross, Molly. Yeah,
What's your
well, I do think she is just lonely and bored, and Gary's just there, and he's like, "I'll help you wash dishes." And Daisy's like, "Okay, Gary has never washed a dish before, but if Allie needs help, he's there."
I mean, good for the charter, I guess, if Allie gets him to wash some dishes, because he should be.
Breathing strip back on.
Yeah, just for you, Justin.
Nice. Well, okay, so Gary does. He's like in the charter, like, or during the middle of the charter, he's like, "Come with me and hang out with me at the bow of the boat." And then they like sit there and like hold hands at the bow of the boat
Yeah,
while they like cupcake a little.
they just like cupcake, and yeah, it's like she won't kiss him. It's like it feels like he's trying to get it to a makeout point, and she's just like, no, it's just like rub our shoulders against each other, kind of.
Yeah, while like stroking each other's hands.
Very like high school, like just people that are flirty and touchy with
Now,
everybody.
normally on a super yacht, you would get in so much trouble for doing that in the middle of a charter,
Yeah, but Gary's in charge.
especially because she's not wearing her uniform. Like, you're not supposed to be like walking around without your
Right,
uniform.
it's like dinner, and he's like,
Yeah.
come over here to the bow. Then I thought he was gonna do like the Titanic.
It's so strange.
Thought he was gonna be like, I'm king of the world.
Zach
Me
really wants me to
gaza.
do this to you while you put your, because you can't breathe without your nose strip.
Aw, that makes sense. It also looks like I'm going to do a lot of cocaine when I like dip my head off screen.
Molly is in fact doing cocaine, guys. That's what I should
Every
do.
time. No, I'm actually just really allergic today, so I keep
Oh
like
no.
blowing my nose off screen because I feel
Oh
like that's
no.
beyond the pale. But
Oh no.
it's a low maintenance Wednesday.
Low
It's
May May
no
Wednesday. That's what we call it. Low May May.
no maybe.
Well,
No
I
makeup.
hope Gary and Allie fall in love and get married.
Me too. That'd be funny for all
That
of
would
us.
be so wild. Also, Allie's like, I'm gonna try and speak to Sydney about this weird situation we're in with Gary, and her like aggressive need to win every situation because we room together and it's gonna start getting weird. And then when she does pull her aside, and she's like, Allie's like, I feel like there's this weird thing between interior and exterior. Like you were being kind of shitty the night before when you were drunk by saying like, we don't help you guys and all you guys do is help us. And before that, there was some drama because like Allie didn't wash some of Sydney's polos, and then like there was some like laundry delays, and so Sydney got like pissed and was like, "We all you guys do is," oh, she didn't say this, but in her ITM, she was like, "All we do is help you guys, and you don't do anything for us. All you need to do is wash something." And then so Sydney is like, there's something going on. It's actually Gary. Gary's the one who's been talking shit about you guys. So it's a Gary versus Daisy thing. And I'm like, did Sydney just like manipulate Allie into believing Gary was like talking shit about that? I don't know. I think Sydney is low key like a smooth criminal. Outside of, being actively like verbally out of control. She's playing mind games.
Off Moon 24 says, okay, on Pity Party, Daisy got so mad about the polo. She was like, Sydney tried to change her polo 7 times a day.
Oh, really?
What's Pita Party?
Oh, it's their it's like their YouTube live, not YouTube. What is it? Instagram live show that they do. Someone sent it to it. I think Off Moon, did you send it to us? I think you did.
Oh, it's the Stews Insta Live.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
their. Oh yeah,
Oh my
you
god,
did
we
send
should
it.
try to get them to come on Chief Stews.
Oh, they would never. Would they?
I don't know. What's more likely? Us getting a Chief Stew to come on Chief Stews or getting Steven Soderbergh? feel like we might have a better chance at Soderbergh, honestly. We're in Los Angeles, not
Oh wait, no.
Florida or New
Jack
Zealand.
Jack sent us the pita party. I'll send it to you, Molly. They like
Alright.
have their branding. It's actually really funny. They like created this whole little thing with the little image, and Daisy like hosts it on her live, and it's like a half hour, and it's her, Danny, and Allie just like talking
Is
about.
it pita party because of how she got mad about there not being enough pitas?
Yeah, basically.
That's so funny. That's such a bad name for the show, for their show. That I will definitely watch.
Please do. I gotta watch it too. I meant to watch it earlier, and then I forgot. Sorry, guys. I didn't do my due diligence, and I apologize to everyone here. Sydney, I believe Sydney was trying to change her polo like 7 times a day and being annoying. Sydney just seems like
High
I don't
maintenance.
know. There's something about her. Like
Something's wrong with her. It's really
it's the whole like
interesting.
I'm better than everyone. I'm more attractive than everyone thing. I can
Right.
beat you in a workout. Like what is that?
Like, I can beat you in a workout is so crazy and nothing you would ever think to say unless you were the craziest person in the world.
Yeah, like if someone's like, "Do you want to work out with me?" I wouldn't be like, I could actually beat you in a workout." Actually,
Right, because like first of all, workout not a competitive sport.
yeah, it
Like if
wasn't
she
like, "Do
was
you want to go
like,
play beach volleyball?"
yeah, like I could beat you. Kun on the Cob says Sydney does CrossFit probs. I
Oh,
definitely can see
for
Sydney
her.
doing some like crazy CrossFit and just like thinking about Gary is she just like pumps weights and just, cleans her gun. Cause
I was gonna say she probably also like
she's
shoots her gun
crazy. Yeah.
if she has one. I'm assuming she does.
Well, she's one of the ones who grew up on a yacht, right?
Well, yeah, and a lot of boat people do have guns because of pirates.
What?
Yeah, I guess that's a thing. Um, that's so funny. They won't let. Okay, so Nikki Bex, you tried to write Bogan, and I had to
Bogan, yeah.
prove you to say Bogan. Like they really think is Bogan a bad word? Do we need to stop using it? It keeps throwing me off.
I want to see if we can say white trash.
Yeah, we could. Remember we tried it.
Oh, right.
Sand reckoner. Yeah, working out.
We just can't say bogan.
Yeah, I don't get it. Is that really bad? I don't know.
No, I think it's fine, and I'll ask the Australians if it's okay to say bogan.
But like Twitch is like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I mean, it definitely sounds like a slur,
Hmm.
but I don't think it is.
Let's really quick touch on these guests before we go to talk a little about Summer House. But yeah, these guests come. They're from the Bay. They're from Napa. Sheikah Jones Espy and Frank Espy. She's a nurse manager with a refined palate, and yeah, she brings her friends, like 2 couples, lesbians, and this like guy and girl, and they want like a disco rave, and they want like a Hollywood theme night with a murder mystery party, and then they also want a
Yeah.
5-course dinner.
It sounds like so much, but then
Yeah, they
they're
seem
actually like pretty chill.
yeah, they're actually very low maintenance. We have a classically terrible beach picnic that they tried to have on the top of this like castle in Croatia. Ugh, when will they
Terrible
learn?
idea, because not only does it have all the issues that a beach picnic entails, they also have to run everything up like 100 flights of ancient stairs
Mm-hmm.
to get to the top of the castle, and there's no air conditioning, and it's like a hot ass day.
Yeah.
So the big cliffhanger is like, will they get them the waters they asked
Well,
for?
that's the
in
thing.
time?
Never.
No,
Never do they
they never
bring
bring-
everything they need to a beach picnic or any
They
picnic.
never- I mean, I understand that it's like the tender is small. They can't necessarily bring anything unnecessary, but on a hot day, you better have water ready
Yeah,
to go.
you're on the top. You're literally on the top of a castle. You're so close to the sun, and the sun was like right there. So like you're like basically next door to the sun.
Yeah, and like heat rises.
It was genuinely like every time they're like, and we're gonna have a beach picnic. I'm like, here we go. I feel like they only have them at this point because they're like a mess and it creates good TV. But like every
Right.
time,
We're not even up to the murder mystery dinner party yet.
oh gosh, I actually that's the other thing. They were all dressed in like kind of like flappers, like 20s gear for this like drinks on a castle, and it looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, Off Moon 24 says also the dudes were in tuxes. It
Yeah,
looked so hot. I mean, temperature hot. It did.
yeah.
They were like, oh, I'm glad we wore these tuxes, but it was like they were clearly not glad. And at that point, once you've taken the photos, just take off the jacket.
Also, the women were all dressed in like flappers dresses and then like sneakers, so it's like a kind of a weird look already. And it's like just go in full comfort.
Yeah, just be comfortable. Like, bring the outfits if you want to take photos. You could just like do it when you get to the
You can
top.
go hide behind a castle wall.
Or like arrive in that and then have a change of clothes. But I guess there's also like no bathrooms or anywhere in this because it's a castle.
There's like a little. There's probably like little crevices you can creep into.
Oh yeah, you could creep in a crev.
It was just a mess and I didn't like it, and it also just like didn't like, while the setup with the table was really cute, everything else was just kind of like it looked uncomfortable.
No, it didn't look fun, and it didn't look worth however many billions of dollars they were clearly paying for it.
No, but what are you gonna do? So basically, yeah, they need water, and Gary calls JL to bring the water, and JL's like, I'm just now finishing up my dinner and then I'll be there. But Gary's like, JL's just not motivated. So he runs down and gets the water by himself because he's like that annoyed. And
He's like
JL's just like wandering around the boat being like, I found the water, but I don't have a cooler to keep it cold. And it's like, ugh.
Gary looked like a
JL.
little Super Mario because he was going like down all the steps.
He really was. He's like, gotta go right
Gotta
now.
go. He's Mario and JL is Luigi. Thanks, Zach. I'll take it.
There we go.
Wow. Any final thoughts about this week's sailing yacht?
I mean, so many emotions. We cried with Colin. We laughed with JL.
True.
We speculated on chlamydia.
And pregnancies. And
Yeah, we tried to
and-
figure out.
having a full baby during COVID.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that's still. I can't believe you reminded me of that. Oh God. I hope for the best.
We just hope for the best. We hope all
Just
these
if you're
babies-
ever like feeling weird, just
love
go get a pregnancy test. Please don't get caught off by a pregnancy and then like at 9 months be like, God, I really have to poo, and then like have a baby.
I just didn't know it happened that much still, but I guess it does because bodies are a mysterious thing.
Well, yeah, that, and I feel like people who are like, disenfranchised people in like lower income situations, like they don't get the healthcare they need, and of course they're not going to go to a doctor and like rack up bills, and then next thing you know, because education is lacking in this goddamn country, they don't know. And
I
that was
mean,
that
the
show. I didn't
thing-
know I was pregnant. Was like covering all of that stuff of like these experiences of these women who just like,
Well, I'm thinking about it now too with Brandy. If they told her she hit menopause, then she would think that's why she's not getting her period.
right. That's just,
She should sue that doctor.
that's the problem. And this is, something I've talked about in other shows, especially in a new show coming up. I recommend the book Unwell by Dr. Eleanor Cleghorn. Go check that book out. It's all about how like women are not taken seriously by doctors, and it's like very hard to advocate for yourself. That's a perfect example where they're like, "Oh, honey, you're just in menopause," and then she has a baby. Oh my God, like listen to women. We're not just like saying things. I have shit to do.
Man.
That's Unwell by Dr. Eleanor Cleghorn. She wrote a really great
Unwell.
book about it. It comes
You're
out in
also on
June.
Creature Feature today, right?
Oh yeah, I was on Creature Feature today. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, everybody should listen to Creature Feature. It's so good. It's a show about animals.
Yeah, today we spoke about flight and like hummingbirds and murmurations, which is like when birds like a bunch of birds fly together at the same time and create those like cool like wave like figures in the sky. I recommend. Very interesting.
Super interesting. It's the
It's like a
best
chain
show.
effect too.
I learned so much from that show, and it's very like pleasant.
Oh, I didn't know you listened.
Check it out.
Check it
I
out. Check out
listen.
Creature Feature with Katie Golden, aka Pro Birds Rights.
Yes. She just knows everything. I just like talking to somebody who knows everything about something I don't know everything about and having them tell me like all the cool stuff about animals, especially. Oh, look who's getting high.
Well, should we really let's end this on some summer house talk?
Yeah. I'll get more stoned and we'll talk about Summer House.
What a So I caught up. I watched season 4 and 5 in like 2 weeks.
I
I'll
love
do
how
it.
like Summer House became your F1. I mean, like I gave you Summer House and you gave me F1 Drive to Survive. And it's like, feels like a good trade, a fair
Yeah.
trade. I'm so happy to have somebody else to talk about Summer House with.
I know I text you all day every day about it.
Oh, it's all I've ever wanted was for like one other person to care about what's going on in Summer House.
It's pretty funny because like they really don't have anything to do, but like now in season 5 because they had to live in the house, it's just silly cuz like their jobs are so I don't know, like uptight in a way.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like again, it just reminds me of that Friends episode where we find out that like nobody knows what Chandler does actually. I
Right.
feel like if you have a real job that makes you a lot of money, it's always like I never know what those people do.
That's like Danielle. Like I don't get what Danielle does.
She's like, I'm in finance. And it's like anybody where it's like, you're in finance. That means you like do something all day that makes you just like unbelievable amounts of money.
She just seems to be like on calls all day being like, and so the development team is going to talk. Like it's so
Yeah, it's just like
crazy.
business. Nikki Beck says, I thought Danielle was in tech, like a project manager or something. I don't know. We
That's
don't know either.
I
That's what we're
thought that
saying. She's
too.
always like, I need to make the stocks go up and the bad stocks go down. And that
But
is how I
when
uh
she was talking about like being she said something like it's hard being a woman in finance, like you have to be really buttoned up or people think you're like whatever, like down to fuck basically.
um
I don't know. Sure, she's in tech. I don't know, honestly.
she's in
Anything you tell me,
tech,
I would believe you. You could be
finance.
like, she is actually head of like tech of Loverboy, and I'd be like, oh yeah, like I
It
don't
does
know.
seem uptight, and that was also when they were like, she's a, it's hard to be a woman of color in this field. I was like, what field? What do you do? Explain
Yeah,
it. I like when Carl had that job before. It's just like all their jobs seem to be just making phone calls all day,
yeah.
and
I
then they
mean,
resent the people who don't have to make phone calls and fill out spreadsheets all day.
so Carl works. He was sales originally, but now he does sales for
He used to sell
Loverboy.
dental equipment, which was one of the reasons why his job was like profoundly unsexy to Paige because
Oh,
she wanted to date a hottie. Maybe that's the season you didn't watch, but Carl and Paige used to hook up in the kitchen
yeah,
in the
season 3.
pantry. Yeah, they hooked up in the pantry. You might have to go back and
I think I have to go back and watch season 3 for the
it'll be
arrival of
hard
Paige and Hannah.
and it's like hard to imagine Carl and Paige, but it did happen. It's funny when people like move in and they think Carl is like hot and playing hard to get, and then they find out later he's just like a total dummy.
Yeah, he's just his parents' divorce fucked him up so hard. Also, the through line of Carl's brother passing away. I was like, that is devastating.
So depressing. And I think his whole family has like issues with addiction. I mean, honestly, like I'm a fucked up person that I like when people's real lives come into reality shows and we break into like, oh, like real time is passing
Yeah.
and real events are happening. Like people have made choices that they can't go back from. And like that was crazy too, because you saw Carl being like, do I need to like leave summer house to go process my feelings? And
Yeah.
he did, but for like one episode.
He all of a sudden, because I was like, Carl is an idiot. And then I saw season 5 and I was like, oh, Carl is a human being.
Carl is a human being. He has clearly like addiction issues and substance issues, and like he's like a nightmare when he's drunk, but he seems like a nice person mostly the rest of the time. I also have personal feelings about Carl's sexuality that I think he may not have fully explored it yet, because I just pick up a vibe from him. Who knows if that's true?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal uh inclination about him. I feel like being sober might allow him, I mean, he might just be fucked up about sex for other reasons, you know. He might be asexual. He doesn't seem like he just like he's so silly.
That's the thing is like, did we see him have sex with uh what's her name when they were like hooking up? What's her name? Shit. Uh the Lindsay.
No,
Because
but
he
they were
talks
like
a lot about
making out at
fucking, but
first a lot.
don't think we ever saw him.
Well, they talked about the finger banging a lot
Right.
instead. That's what's so funny about this show too, is it's like they focus a lot on like other sexual acts, you know, such
Yeah.
as finger banging. An entire season was concerned with that. Uh, the everything but stuff with Hannah and Luke, which just
Yeah.
seems like it all seems again very like summer camp, where it's like, you
Okay,
know,
wait. Off Moon says I might know Danielle through work. Okay, please elaborate on that. Jay Cutcut says Paige is dating Craig in the Winter House. I saw an article where Paige is denying her relationship with Craig. I mean, maybe now, but maybe in the house they were dating. But she just something like I'm not dating Craig.
Craig
Uh,
is like a better version of Carl. Craig is like a nice, sweet dummy, but he's like much more attractive, I think, than Carl.
oh wait, Austin is dating Ciara. Ciara,
That
that
seems
sucks.
like a downgrade for Ciara, who's
Yeah.
like too good for any of these idiots. Um, Craig and Tommy Lauren are friends. Okay, Craig is bad.
Yeah,
Um,
Craig seems like fucking trash.
I just
Sasha
saw the thing
Media.
about
What's
the
Sasha Media?
I just saw the news item about Matt James dating the racist bachelorette contestant. Bachelor.
Yeah, I've heard they've been hanging out. I don't know if they're dating.
Well, then and that he's a Republican. Where I was like,
Well,
how
he
did
he
they
was a
not?
Republican when he was younger, I think because his mom's a Republican. But then, like, I guess recently he is no longer voting Republican and is registered as an independent. But who knows where that will go in the
An
future.
independent.
But he's from what, North Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of.
Yeah, I heard they're seeing each other again. God, I can't imagine him. Well,
Again, I'm like, has there ever been an actually genuine good relationship that's come out of reality television?
hmm. Maybe Sean Lowe and Catherine from The Bachelor that season. Because they're still together. They have a bunch of kids and they like live in Texas, I think. And they're just like, they like,
Yeah. Oh,
promote their like brand and stuff, but they're pretty low
yeah.
key.
Oh, I guess very old, but Pam and Judd from Real World San Francisco. Um,
Oh, okay. They said Sasha Media like watch her. Okay, I actually do know what you mean. I'm so dumb. I listen to Watch What Crappens. That was so over my head. I thought that was a
Lulu
person on like Southern Charm that I like had no. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Go ahead.
Lulu Fishpaw says, Molly, I'm surprised you think Craig is hotter than Carl. Carl just seems like so embarrassing.
Craig is hotter than Carl, but Craig also sucks regardless.
Craig
He can
sucks
be
too.
hot
They
and
both
like
suck.
trash.
But I mean, I liked Craig's plotline about how he was like wanted to make pillows, and then he like did make pillows, and now he's like the most successful of any of them with his business that they all made fun of. Because they were all like, you know, oh, you're sewing stuff, you weirdo. I'm gonna go launch a craft beer that nobody drinks. That's Austin. That's my impression of
Oh,
Austin.
I was like, wait, who did that? Are you talking about, what was his name? That's so, they like, I feel like these Bravo, the men, like as soon as they like hit any sort of like level of like, I've saved my money, they like,
They started a business.
well, they start an alcohol-based business.
Because of Bethany and Skinny Girl Margaritas.
Well,
That's, like, the
okay, so
big-
like the Tom Toms just literally opened a bar. I guess they were working at a restaurant before, but like, and then Loverboy, like that's just what they do. They're all like
'cause
alcohol,
that's the Bravo brand, right?
drinking. You're right, martinis. Look at us.
What are,
Look at us with
what are-
our
right?
super alcohol-filled martinis.
right, like that's what they actually might be able to sell. But I think the market is so oversaturated for canned cocktails right now
It
that
really
actually
is.
Craig making pillows is like a smarter move because he's making weird Southern Pride. Ooh, alarm going by. He makes these weird, like preppy pillows that it seems like people in Charleston would actually want.
I like the idea of preppy pillows. Oh,
You
off
know,
moon.
you know what I mean? Like in somebody, like a preppy, like.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know.
Like-
I know what pillows you're talking about that he makes. I've actually like Googled Austin recently because I was watching season 4 and he came to the party with Craig and what's the other guy? There's one other guy who came on Summer House.
Oh yeah, Kyle.
Kyle, was it Kyle? Yeah. So I Googled him recently and I did see the preppy pillow situation. Vicky Bro says she's a full-on Trump supporter. Matt's mom. And then
Somebody knows.
oh, okay. Yes, off
Danielle
moon, you
Miller.
know Danielle. Okay, so she did technically work at a bank. So she works in tech and finance. So we did get
wow,
that.
that makes so much sense.
What is tech? What does working in tech at a bank mean? And what bank was it? Tell us. Tell us. Come on. You got drunk at a holiday party together once. Okay, what was she like? Tell us everything. We need to know. Because to me, she seems very boring. And lol, I get. Nikki Beck says my stepmom is a PM for Wells Fargo. Now, what is a PM? Oh, okay. Off Moon says she was kind of boring. Okay. I guess she's pretty transparent on social media because God really pick that vibe up quick. Also, I don't feel like her inputs are that interesting. Like when she was talking to Hannah and she's like, well, we didn't really get to know.
Oh, that was the best part,
Des.
actually.
And I was like, bitch, who cares if you didn't get to know Des? Like, are you and Hannah even friends?
She gave us the best moment of the season, though, when she was like, when Lindsay was flipping out and being like, is something wrong with me?
Oh,
She
and
was
she's like, yes.
yeah. Am I the problem? Yeah, you are.
I like
Totally the
how
problem.
I'm glad Lindsay's had therapy and is like aware of all her issues regarding her mom and her family and stuff like that. But her and Stravi were never gonna work out.
Never gonna work out. And I didn't realize he like came back and they got back together for like the end of the season because I had already heard her on the after show being like, oh, it's over. Like,
Yeah.
fuck him. I think it seemed clear that it was going to end again, like shortly thereafter. But
He can't well, she wants to show her areola to everyone, and he's like, how am I supposed to marry a woman like you? And it's like,
God, that made me so bummed out.
yeah.
'Cause I was
I was like, let
"You're
her
at
live.
a naked pool party. You're playing truth or dare.
Yeah, and you're
they
with
asked
all
her
your
to show
friends.
her
And yes, you're on a
areola.
reality TV show, but you've been on it for a while. So it's like all of a sudden you didn't think she was going to show her areola?
And also, like, you've all been living together for like the whole summer. Like, people have seen her titties.
Yeah, she also like hooked
them
up
out
with
a
Carl.
lot. Yeah. And it's like none of those guys are threatening to him, I guess. Maybe it's Carl. Maybe he's like, don't show your tit to Carl. Because you used to.
Vicky Bro says Danielle's new boo. Yes, he is really boring. That guy literally, I was like, what? You're a chef? That's pretty cool. But your personality,
They both seem
didn't
too
give me much.
functional to be on the show. I was like, you guys seem lovely.
I
You
even
don't need
missed
to be on a reality television show because you're too normal.
I missed him
Bring
cooking.
back the weirdos.
I was like, oh, did he cook? Oh, he cooked. I completely missed that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, that's
yeah.
the only
They're like,
thing I wanted to see him do was
the
cook
food
because
at
he's a
this party
chef.
is so good. You're so lucky you date a chef. Oh, thank you. I am lucky. Maybe I can finally put my businesswoman persona aside to find love
To
in the big
find
city.
love. Wait, Off
Um,
Moon, did she leave her job at the bank? I'm curious what she's
did
doing
she
now.
did she rob the bank? You
Or
can
wait,
tell us.
would she have left before the pandemic or after the pandemic or in the middle? Because we're not done with this pandemic yet. Because I'm curious if it's the same job she had while on season 5. She left last November. Oh, so she full okay. So where she's working on the show is your bank or whatever. I'm surprised she left. It sounded like she was like really, really. I
Seems like a
guess.
real job you don't need to have a summer house as a side gig for. Also, like everyone else is essentially on summer house to promote their job, you know?
I need
Uh
to look up why she left.
Paige is a fashion blogger, supposedly. Hannah's a podcaster. Kyle, Carl, and Amanda all work for Loverboy now, so their whole livelihood is based around being on Summer House to promote Loverboy. She's really the only person who like could just walk away from Summer House unscathed, you know,
Yeah.
and still have a real life and not be like screwed because you don't have TV presence anymore.
Okay. Nothing makes sense. Honestly, I can't figure out why she left her job. But
Maybe she
Offmoon,
just
like,
got
shoot her an
offered more
email.
money. She probably got just offered more money at another job.
That's true. And they probably saw her on Summer House and they were like, she's a worker and she seems boring. Let's hire her.
Uh,
Well, Jay Kucka says she's now making Lover Girl wine coolers. That's pretty funny. What if she really was? She made the sister company, and then Amanda's like, I can't believe she made the sister company.
oh, they call that a cheater brand on New York Housewives because Bethany accused somebody else, I think it was Sonia Morgan, who was starting a brand that was called Tipsy Girl.
Oh my
She was
god.
like, that's a cheater brand. You're trying to like use my success to make yourself successful.
That's wild.
It was.
Woo! I love that actually. I'm gonna make what's a brand you do? I'm gonna make a cheater brand off of you. Um Offmoon said she probably made like 150K ish. So like she must be making real money then. 150K is good money. She must have been offered 250K. Too much money. Vicky Bro says he obviously want having sex with her or they weren't hooking up because he was weirded out by cameras, didn't want to be on that TV, which respect to are you talking about Stavi and Lindsay?
I think they're talking
Oh
about
no,
the
yes,
chef
you're talking about
and
the chef
Danielle.
and Danielle. Good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think he was just like not
A
ready
normal person, yeah.
for
It's
what?
I
Like
don't actually
everyone's
want
screaming at
everyone
each
to hear
other.
me having sex on television.
Yeah, I get that.
Vicky Bro says, "Do we think Amanda and Kyle will last? Bets on how many years?"
Yes and no. I could go either way at this point because they're like,
They're going through with it.
yeah, and they just seem like kind of like good for each other in that sense because they're like, I don't know, they're both just like so white. Does that make sense?
They're like Pete Campbell and his wife on Mad Men. It's
Mm,
like they're both aspirational in the same way. They both are like strivers who want to get a level above where they like are, you know?
yeah.
And in that way they do seem well matched. It's like
I do think Amanda is going to get alienated from all her friends because of Kyle, though.
100%. And then I think it's going to take a few years and they're going to have at least a kid. And then either he'll blow it because he feels
Ace.
he has a full on midlife crisis and needs to go out and party. And she's stuck at home with the kid. Or I could also see her being like, fuck this, I hate my life. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go start over.
But I also think she likes the power couple-y, like they're like
I
weak
think she
green
does
lever boy.
too, but I think she likes it. They're like right at the point where they're so smug. It's like something has to go wrong, you
I
know?
know. I hope so. I
Like people get really smug right before they get married.
Is tonight
And
the
then
reunion?
I think it's tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. You're right. It's Thursday. Ugh, got excited.
I know. Tonight's Jersey reunion, I think.
Oh, Jersey's already over. Are they on a boat?
They were on a boat like 5 times.
I guess that's like an easy thing to do during a pandemic because it's just like you're kind of outside. So it's like whatever.
Right. You're outside, but you're in something. You're apart from people, but you're together.
Yeah. You know what? I wish I could go on a boat. I don't know why I'm hating. I would love to go on a boat.
Yeah, we're all going on a boat. Jake Hutka says, I give it 5, then a break, then they stay together. Lulu Fishpaw says, I think they're in it for the long haul, Spidey style. I can see that. Because again, I think it's like staying together and being the couple from Summer House is really like all they have in life.
Yeah, no, lover boy's all they have in life.
And Loverboy is like, we're the couple from Summer House, but
Yeah.
also if they don't generate plot lines after they get married, they will get bounced from the house, you know?
You think so? I thought
Yeah.
okay. So I was reading that well, Hannah was like explaining why Kyle hates her basically so much, which by the way, I'm on Hannah's side in the regard of like her and Des did not need to hang out with anyone.
I mean, he was being a little standoffish, I thought though also. Des.
Yeah, but like he probably came in and she was like, "This is how shitty it's been. Everyone hates me," and so he probably just had
No,
like a
I
shitty
think-
I
I think he
preconceived
only
notion.
hears her side, so I do think he came in and he was like, "These people are all against my girlfriend."
Yeah,
But I do
think
feel
so.
like it's like the thing to do is to like be like overly nice to everybody. Like he should have gone over to Luke and been like, "Oh, hey, great to meet you," blah blah blah, and like more. Because I think,
Ugh, but Luke is like the ex. Like that's weird.
but it's weird to be like, "I'm not gonna talk to your ex," because he was doing what Hannah wanted, which was even weirder, which was for them to just like make out, but like in full view of everybody constantly.
Yeah, but I
'Cause
think they were just like horny, like pandemic people.
I think so, but I think she was also like, let's make out where Luke can see. Jake Hucka says they
Yeah.
are on a show. He needed to interact. I
don't
agree,
know.
especially if you want to get that invite back to the summer house, Des. Which
I don't know because with it's like a rant. Like he to me, I was like, that's a rando. Like I don't like. Also, like,
But
look, I've spent
such a
years
small
dealing
group.
with comedians. I spent years as a booker, a comedy booker. Comedians are not like they're like not normal people. They're very socially awkward. They can't deal with anything, and their only
No,
safe
that's
space
true,
is
and
like
he
getting
seems
people
like-
to laugh at them on stage.
he seemed like somebody who could only be on or off, and he was just choosing to be off because he was like on with Hannah to a point where it was like hard to watch, but then it was like he was afraid to be on. Vicky Bro says he could have tried a tiny bit harder, make a good first impression, then you can pull the shady cold shoulder vibe on the second visit. Jake Hucka says they were not invited to Winter House.
Who is
Yeah, I
in
just
Winter
feel like
House
he needs
again?
to what you say?
Wait, it's Paige, Lindsay, right?
I
Is
think so.
Danielle there?
Craig and Austin from Southern Charm. It's a mix and match. How about Des and Hannah? Do we think they'll actually end up getting married? I took a poll on Twitter, and the poll was, who are the worst couple in Summer House? And the options were Amanda and Kyle, Lindsay and Stravy, or Des and Hannah. Des and Hannah ran away with it.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty close for a while between Des and Hannah and Lindsay and Stravy.
I
Amanda
thought
and
it was
Kyle
Lindsay
barely
and
made a showing.
Stravy. Yeah, Amanda and Kyle are boring. But it was, for me, it was between Hannah and Lindsay, and I ended up choosing Lindsay and Stravy because it already felt like they were breaking up, and I was like, I can't with these two.
No, and they're like badly matched, but there's something about Hannah and Dez's like dual comedian podcaster energy of a certain
That's
type.
why I think they're perfect for each other, because I was like, then they can just like be in their own worlds.
Oh, but he's clearly got a dark side.
Oh, yeah, he's a comedian. This is what I'm
He's a
saying.
comedian, but he's also
He's a
like if she
comedian.
thinks Luke has problems, like come on, this guy's like, does
Well,
he have a podcast?
I'm sure he does. I don't know. He's a comedian. He's a comedian in New York. Yeah, yes. He probably has a podcast with, I can't even think of another New York comedian. Like, but thing is, like, I think maybe Des would work because he's older, so he's already gone through his like weird whatever, like shitty young days, and now he's got a young woman.
Yes, but what if he uses the fact that he's older to like be controlling and further alienate her from all her friends?
I mean,
until
that
he's
could be the
only
case.
person
I
in
think
her
we'll
life?
learn at the reunion.
Lulu Fishpaw says if you guys watched any of Dez's comedy, his Instagram is interesting. No,
I
please tell
haven't.
us about Dez's comedy. I get just like everything he and Hannah were saying to each other. I was like, you're not funny. Like they're both the same kind of like, I'm like not funny, but loud and like sexual.
Well, they're like New York's club comics.
Yes. Vicky Bro says, I feel like he's love bombing her.
Oh,
Or not. I
he is
can't
love
tell,
bombing
but
her,
it
isn't he?
seemed slightly unhealthy. Yeah, it
He was
seemed
like, I love you. They were like,
it seemed like it was like just a crazy rebound from Luke. And I feel like it's a thing people do where they're like, okay, this guy was like so wrong for me. And like, I knew it from the beginning that like it was going to end in tears because he's like the wrong type of guy for me to be with. And I'm going to rebound to this guy who, like, on paper might be exactly the right type of guy for her to be with, but it's way too fast. They got engaged after like 6 months or something during COVID, which gives you boat madness.
which I think they've been
Like,
living together too.
right? Like too much. That's what I'm saying. It just seems like too much too soon. And like, is it sustainable for two people that clearly are like very intense? Probably not, but I'm sure like they're in, having fun sex that none of us want to see for some reason.
I think they're like
Um,
they were just like horny people who had
I
been in
know,
like
but it's like I'm
pandemics. So
not
I'm like,
usually put off by horny people. Usually when people are horny, I'm like, "Oh, that's nice. Good for them." Like when I see people making out in public or even on a reality show, I'm like, usually like, "Okay, cool." For some reason, Hannah and Des, they give me like theater kids that are the couple that just like make out in the hallways all the time. It's like it's about you seeing them do it. It's
yeah,
that
no, I
they
mean,
like
look,
want to be observed and they're drawing you
yeah.
into their sick thing and you don't want to be part of it because they're not the people you want to watch have sex at all.
I definitely wasn't interested in watching them. I just thought they were like, I was just like,
Like,
okay, so these two are just like super horny for each other, so they're just gonna go like fuck everywhere. That's their
right.
storyline
Like
for
when
now, is that
Carl
they
and
fuck
Paige
everywhere.
were fucking everywhere in the house, it was like funny and cute and like made me think Carl might have like a fun side. They also seemed like they were maybe having sex. Now that I think about it, maybe Carl and Paige were having sex or were they just making out in the pantry? That's like so much of what
Huh.
the show is about is people just arguing about like it's like Clue, but it's people being like, what base did they get to? In what room of the house? They got to third base in the hot tub.
Yeah, everyone fucks in that hot tub.
I mean, that's what hot tubs.
Okay, so Hannah kept talking about how he's well known in the UK. Is he Irish? I thought he was Irish, and then I was like, well, he's not speaking with an Irish accent.
No, I don't think he's Irish, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was like of the persuasion.
He just seems like a rich, like whatever, like
Lulu
guy
Fishpaw
from
says
the
age gaps
Northeast.
that big just always gross me out. I
Well,
mean,
that's
I
a
know-
classic entertainment industry thing. You always see guys who are older with women who are, 10 to 15 years younger than them or even half their age. That's so common that I see that the man is so much
Well,
older and the woman is younger.
especially with like comedians.
Oh, especially with comedians. Yeah.
And like And like some people are just like undateable because they're too fucking nuts, and like I can think of some far better known and more attractive comedians whose secret dark sides like freak me out so bad, where you're like, no, you wouldn't actually want to date that person that you like from like the TV show, because like they can't change in any
Okay.
way.
Lulu Fishpaw says he is from New York, but he was sent to boarding school in Ireland at 14.
Wow, specific. You really can nail
That-
those accents from all of our below deck training.
No, you can't. Didn't he said something about being Irish? And his name's Des Bishop. I was like, is he Irish? Also,
true.
I could have sworn I heard him have an Irish accent on the phone with Hannah at one point. That's why I thought he was Irish.
Having an Irish accent would go a really long way for a guy that looks like that, in my personal opinion. If he had an Irish accent, I'd be into it.
Okay, Lulu Fishpaw says his comedy is all about it. Okay.
Hilarious.
That's why he's big in the UK, because
his
he's
jokes
just like,
are all about like,
yeah.
American is like this and Irish is like this.
why do we say stuff like yeah, he's like, why do our accents sound like this? Yeah,
Does
that's
he
why he's
do,
big in
like-
the UK.
Does he do like the Fringe Festival? That's just
Oh,
like,
he
the
for
vibe.
sure has done Fringe.
I just feel like their flame is so hot. Can it really not burn out? He's fluent in Chinese.
What?
Hot.
I'm sorry, what? Why? I guess I don't understand. That's so random. Self-taught. Okay, so he's like, he must come from money where he has time to teach himself Chinese.
He went to boarding school.
He has a video of himself doing comedy in Mandarin.
Okay, white people doing
I'm sorry.
white people speaking Chinese and being like, "Can you believe how amazing I am at speaking Chinese?" Like
Like
not
he
so cool.
understands joke formats in Mandarin. Is that the hardest language to learn?
So he seems kind of like self-satisfied, is what we're getting. He's kind of like patting himself on the back for being.
Now he's got his young fiance.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. Get out, Hannah. Get out.
I honestly think they're gonna get married and last.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it's like a Joker and Harley Quinn
Yeah.
relationship?
That's a good way of describing it. Yeah, why not?
All comedians and their girlfriends are the Joker and Harley
Look,
Quinn.
If Amanda and Kyle can survive, so can Des and Hannah. I can't help it, guys. I'm just a romantic.
You're just a romantic. You just believe that the relationship can last off the boat or the podcast, if you will. Good sound effect.
I just had to try that. Zach's been doing them, but sometimes you gotta try a little.
Did you and Zach meet on the comedy circuit or did you meet in podcasting? Sorry if that's too personal for the stream. You don't have to answer.
That was a horn. We met well, no, we met at he ran a venue. That's how I met him. Meltdown.
So you guys knew each other before you came.
Yeah, no,
to
we knew each other for
iHeart.
like 2 years before we started dating, and I did not care for him at all. He was so mean. I thought he was such a dick. I was like, this guy sucks. I can't believe they let him run this
Oh.
venue.
Okay, that is romantic.
I thought he was such
'Cause
a
that's-
piece of
'cause
shit.
That's how it works in sitcoms, It's like
We
you're like,
hated each other.
oh my god, we have this like frisson every time we talk, and like no patience for you.
No, Zach was not nice. He's just like a cranky like sound tech.
Molly, she asked me to put up the poster, and we have 3 interns. She asked me.
I asked him for help on my first
Wait,
show
this
ever.
is
But she asked like
This
a
is
dick. It was like, hey,
Literally
intern, put
like
up
a
this
yacht. This is like yacht drama. This is
No,
like
it
you
wasn't
asked
at all.
poster.
You asked him to do dishes, and he was like,
I literally just asked for help putting up a poster, and he was like, "We have interns for that," and I was
No,
like, "This
she
guy
wasn't
sucks."
gonna participate. She passed it to me like, do it.
No, I
It
just
was
needed
a
help.
Big difference. She's high as shit.
I'm
She
not
was a
high
dick
as
to
shit.
me,
I know
and
what
then moved on.
happened. You cannot trust a men's side of the story.
You
She
cannot
tried to
trust a
produce
man.
me.
A men's side of a story, okay? I said that correctly. I'm from Ireland, okay?
People who are friends first, or antagonistic acquaintances, and then date. I feel like that's the secret. That's why I think
Was me with
Carl
Chad.
and Lindsay might have real potential
Can't hear what
still.
Molly's saying.
Interesting. I think,
Um,
yeah, I could see that. I could also, so Paige does break up with Perry eventually.
yes, and it's really funny because she's just like, I don't really want a boyfriend. It like
Yeah.
turns out I hate my boyfriend and I'm happy being away from him.
She barely, like that season 4, she was all about Perry, like calling him and stuff. And then, like, she didn't call him, like, once.
That's what's funny about it too, though, is it's like, yeah, you see people's like waves of like super intense being into somebody and then like getting sick of them and then being like, oh, am I really sick of them or am
Yeah.
I just like want to go to the summer house?
Yeah. You just want to go to the summer house.
Sometimes you just want to go to the summer house. It's okay to go on a vacay,
Yeah. It's okay to just, like, have some fun.
have some fun, have
Go
a
to
life.
summer
I
house.
mean, have a life outside of your relationship because that's
Well, I hope she's not dating Craig because that would be. Bleh.
well, it sounds like maybe they hooked up and then she's like, "Oh, we're not dating."
Yeah. And it sucks
Which
that
I do
Sierra's
respect.
dating Austin. Ugh. She could do so much better.
Yeah. Austin is like, he's funny to me. I can't believe his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, Madison LaCroix, broke up J-Lo and A-Rod. That was incredible to me. That was like space-time collapsing. Vicky
I
Bro says
mean,
I think Perry was a little controlling.
well,
I
that's
believe
another.
that.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think some of
And he
these
was
girls when
older.
they with the daddy issues, like Hannah, getting in a relationship with Des, it's like at first she's gonna like that he makes all the choices for her, and then finally she's gonna be like, wait a minute, like I have no friends.
I have no friends. Yeah, that
Because
sucks.
he's like, all you need is me, baby. I went to boarding school in Ireland and I've got a weird, cokey demeanor.
And I can speak dirty to you in Chinese or Mandarin.
And
Yeah, but Perry was another one of those older men with a young girlfriend.
right, where it's like I don't think there's a way of getting around the part of that where like the guy has the control and the power in the relationship, and that's just not what I want for these ladies. Even with
He
Amanda
wanted
and
to
Kyle, I'm like,
take her away to Miami, which would have been great for her feed, like she said,
yeah,
but bad vibes in other regard.
yeah,
Pretty
your
crazy.
hair looks so cool.
Thanks, I'm just combing it. I'm trying to go straight across. I'm a
um
hairstylist.
Of course, the season ended with a fake wedding for Amanda and Kyle, followed by a Instagram selfie they posted where they are all naked at the summer house pool,
And let's
including
discuss.
Sierra, who's in the background. Sierra's in the pool, and you
Yeah.
can see her head, and the rest of them are facing the camera, but like maybe you don't even see their faces, you just see their butts, and there's a lineup of
Yes.
butts, and it looks like
So
that
Kyle
Pink Floyd
has no
poster.
butt. Paige has perfected the butt sit. You can tell she knows exactly how to accentuate her ass. And Carl also has a little bit of a badunkadunk.
Carl has a big
Yeah.
butt, and that was the thing everybody was talking about the photo.
I
Is
thought
that
it was
Carl
so funny
had a donk.
how much of a donk he had compared to uh Kyle, who had just nothing.
Kyle has like a Hank Hill butt. He has like an inverted butt. 'Cause
Is
he's
that
so
it's
white.
like just like, well, it's like a back. It just goes straight down and then two little
Right.
cheeks. Two
Boop,
little,
beep.
little baby cheeks. Oh. Vicky Bro says they did some Facetune because some of those butts were huge. Carl, I was stunned. I mean,
I think Carl's just got a dump truck ass. I
I do
think
too.
that tracks with everything I know about Carl. And he's tall, right?
Yeah, he's very tall. Let's see. Was that on Lindsay's?
I
Uh,
forget. I think so. L Hubs. Hey
L
guys, this is a
Hub.
mini comb ad. Anna, according to Zach.
Yeah, I just made a comb ad. What can I say? I like playing with the little comb.
Loverboy combs. Chief Stew's combs.
Lynn's Hubs. Yeah, that's the asses. You guys think those butts are Facetune? They do like.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Lindsay facetuned her own butt. but
Yeah.
I think that's just Carl's. I think Carl just has a donk.
Yeah, I think Carl just has a donk.
And we
This is
just
the
didn't know
photo.
because he's mostly wearing clothes. And yeah, it really looks like that Pink Floyd poster. It's really funny.
Well, shall we end it there? And
Yes, perfect place to wrap it up. Thanks again for
course.
listening and watching.
Thank
Chief
you
Stews,
all for
Deckheads
sticking 2 hours in. It's the longest stream ever. Guys, we're really finding our place. We're really streaming it till the end. But yeah, if you want to keep up, next week we're back on Tuesday. You can follow us at Deckheads Pod on Instagram and Twitter, at Deckheads Pod. You can send us fun stuff. We love tea. We love some hot goss. Send us anything. We love all Bravo news, honestly. And yeah, I'm at Anna Hosni on Twitter. Molly, where can people find you?
I'm at Molly Lambert on Twitter and at Molly_Lambert on Instagram.
Hell yeah. Thank you all for hanging out and talking to us on the chat. Everyone, shout out Vicky Bros, Coon on the Cob, Nikki Bex, Lulu Fishpaw. There's, Off Moon. Shout out Jay Kutka. All of you for chatting with us about, our favorite Bravo show. Zoe McPhee. Who else? Who else am I missing?
Exactamundo. Producer
Exactamundo. Yeah, shout out to all of you. Woo!
Woo!
All right, everyone, have a good night. We're gonna get out of here with we'll play some reggae. We're gonna try some new reggae. So enjoy. Have a good night, everybody.
Ooh, I like this.
If you listen closely, that's Michael. Michael Jordan talking. Just keep listening. That's a little hot tip for you. All right. Good night, y'all.
When Kobe Bryant died, a piece of me died. And as I look in this arena across the globe, a piece of you died. Or else you wouldn't be here. Those are the memories that we have to live with and we learn from. I promise you, from this day forward, I will live with the memories of knowing that I had a little brother